All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video, and we got a hot topic to talk about today. I see it making its rounds through through my feed and through the algorithm and everything. Talking about red purple law, should it be banned? Talking about the leader. I'm going to give you guys my take in today's video. This will be a rant style video. Not too much complaining in this one. I'm going to actually try to approach this from a game design standpoint, like a game theory standpoint. I think you guys might enjoy the direction I go with it. I think most people will agree with me, by the way. I could be wrong, but we'll see. And I want you guys, please feel free to leave your comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section below, but let's please keep it respectful. That's all I ask. Okay, guys? Okay, so let me give you a quick layout for this video so we can just dive straight into this. Excuse me. The bulk of this video will be red purple law and whether or not it should be banned or things that could be done to fix it and things like that. Then the second thing we'll go right. I got two games on the sim for us today, and I'll have everything timestamped down in the comment section or the description of the video below if you want to just hop to the games if you don't care about this kind of stuff. But I've got two games on the sim. Purple Magellan. Okay, we got Magellan from gosh, I don't know, was it OP01 or OP02? Whenever that leader came out, I got two games of Magellan lined up for us, and then we'll talk about the deck list after that I'm running for that, and then we'll finish from there. So not my standard video. This one's a little bit of a detour from what I usually do, but I think this is a pretty relevant topic. I think we need to talk about it. I want to see what the community says about it. I want to see what you guys say about this. I want to read what y'all have to say, hear what y'all have to say about it. And if you want to talk more about it, guys, hop on my Discord. We can talk about it on there anytime you want to. The Discord link will be in the description of my video, and it's always on my homepage of my channel. So yeah. All right, you know what you're getting into, guys. There will be some spoilers and stuff like that, and there will be some some unpopular opinions. Okay, there will probably be some unpopular opinions that I have to say in here. I'm not trying to offend anyone. And one more thing I do want to preface this video with before I even dive into it is I have not watched any of the other videos talking about this subject. I've only seen them pop up in my feed, and I wanted to give my response first before I watched those so that it was totally unbiased and it doesn't look like I'm agreeing with anyone or disagreeing with anyone. I just want to give you guys a straightforward, like objective take on what I think about the situation, red purple law. All right, you know what you're getting into, guys. Here we go. Let's dive in. So the reason this has popped up recently, first let me preface, talk about why this is going on, is about 2 weeks ago, roughly, not quite. I think today's date is June 12th, and this was released all the way back on June 1st. This was the first major tournament from the East in the OP08 format. Remember, Sakazuki banned, okay? And we will be talking about Sakazuki, okay? So, in the very first tournament, sorry if you don't speak Japanese, I don't either, but you could tell by the colors what's going on here and just using like process of elimination. Okay, 6 red purple law, 3 black yellow Luffy, I believe it's 3 black Lucci, could be Gecko, but I think it's Lucci. Y'all help us out down in the comment section below if we're off on a little bit of these. And then there's 1 of each Boa Hancock and Doflamingo, 1 Jewelry Bonnie, I believe. It could be Carrot, but I don't think so. I think it's Jewelry Bonnie. And then 1 black and green Perona. Okay, so immediately on the first week of tournament results from the East, we see almost half the top 16. This is just the top 16. I don't know how many people are in this tournament. And in fact, for anyone who does know, if you have the information, please post down below how many people were in this tournament and the deck representation of each color, because that does matter. Like, that is an actually extremely relevant factor. So, real quick, this was the top 16 of the first tournament in OP08 from the East. And 6 out of 16 in the top 16 were red purple law. And spoiler warning, spoiler guys, they did win. Red purple law did win the tournament. Now, fast forward 1 week later, and this was that tournament's results. Again, for the top 16. And if you have any information on these tournaments, like how many players exactly were in this tournament and how much representation each list saw, I would really like to know. Excuse me, because it's actually very relevant. It's actually extremely relevant. And in this one, I think it was 11 red purple law, 2 black yellow Luffy, 2 Lucci, and 1 Boa Hancock, I believe. And again, y'all help me out in the comment section below if I'm a little bit off on that. But not super relevant for this video. The main thing is this one at the top here. Over half of the top 16 in the second tournament was red purple law. So now people are starting to say, okay, people are starting to say we're starting to see a tier 0 leader emerge. Potentially. I don't think so, but I guess that is potentially there. So let me say this. Number 1, I do not think red purple law, the leader, should be banned. And I'm going to segue that into another, like, another leader, experience we've seen from the past where Blue-Black Sakazuki was banned. I was completely against this ban. I was completely against it. People just wanted to play what they already knew had won. Okay, it's like, okay, well, I already know this leader can win. And it is very, Red, Purple Law and Blue-Black Sakazuki would actually be so incredible right now. You guys tell me what y'all think of that in the comment section below as well. How amazing would this format be if it's Blue-Black Sakazuki versus Red Purple Law versus Black Yellow Luffy, just literally dueling it out for like the top 3 meta. You know what I mean? I feel like that would actually be a thing, and there would be other leaders like on the cusp of that are trying to break in as well, like Jewelry Bonnie, like NL, like even Gecko Moria, by the way, even Gecko Moria, and just leaders like that, Doflamingo, people trying to break into that top conversation that are actually very strong decks. And with the right pilot can like break into top 16s, just like we saw in this first one. Like, look at this, guys. This is a pretty healthy format that you're looking at right here. Yes, the deck that everyone, you have to take a few things into consideration too, guys. When you're talking about doing a tournament, this is going to be like an 8-round or 9-round or even 10-round Swiss. Well, guess what? Red Purple Law is an aggro deck for the most part. Yes, there are some control elements. Well, guess what that means? Instead of having to go Galaxy Brain and like win, all 8 of those 8, 9, 10 of those rounds with Black Yellow Luffy or even like Boa or what's Doflamingo. Instead, you can just run your opponent over, and if you drew better than them and you play well, you still have to play well, then you could just beat them. You know what I mean? And Red Purple Law does that. So it is like the perfect tournament deck. Its games are going to be quick, potentially, unless you just slow play or your opponent's slow playing. That's different. But typically speaking, the games are going to be fast, number one. And number two, it is a highly efficient deck with a lot of answers. Okay, it is just a good deck. It just is. So you have to take that into consideration. But then in the second week, look what they did, the next week, this was the results. And like, yeah, okay, that's a little bit concerning when 11 out of the 16 decks in the top 16 are the same deck. That's where it gets concerning. And that's where people are starting to talk. And by the way, another spoiler warning, guys. Red Purple Law won this tournament as well. Okay, Red Purple Law has won both of the first 2 tournaments. Well, let me ask you guys this real quick. And this is just an honest question. You guys tell me. If Blue-Black Sakazuki was still allowed in the format, and all the cards with it. I'm talking Great Eruption and, well, that's it, right? It was Great Eruption. I can't remember now. I think it was just Great Eruption and Sakazuki got banned, and then it was Reject. And I feel like I'm missing one card, guys. I'm sorry. If whatever card I'm missing, I apologize, guys. I can't remember off the top of my head. Whatever the case is, do you honestly think that Blue-Black Sakazuki would not be in this list as well? Because I don't think Red Purple Law disappears. I just think then you have a healthier distribution at the top between, like, Sakazuki, Red Purple Law, Black Yellow Luffy, and then, like I said, decks trying to get in there like Lucci, Gecko, Boa, Doflamingo, Bonnie, Jewelry Bonnie, potentially Carrot, and a few other ones. Black Green Perona, Enel, things like that. Maybe even Katakuri. I've seen some people mess with Katakuri lately. You never know. But here's all I'm trying to say is when you start banning leaders, okay, when you start banning leaders, you're going to open up like this chasm, okay, this hole for the next best leader to fill. And in this situation, it's Red Purple Law. Well, let's go ahead and look at some results real quick. This is from us over here in the West. Notice this is English EB01. So this is what we are in currently in the West. And out of these, I'm going to sort it. Hang on one second, guys. We have 195 entries. Okay, 195 is a pretty good number of just random entries all over the world and all over the West in this format. And understand that this is not just first place. This is first place, top 8s. Look, this one's 23rd place, top 16s, and things like that. So check this out. Edward Newgate. Not bad, because I think this, by the way, I think Edward Newgate is pretty solid into Red Purple Law. But we'll talk about this stuff all over the video. Hopefully I'll remember to talk about it all. There's a lot to talk about. Katakuri, not doing too bad. And now I'm going to skip over some of the lesser ones, guys. I like to see these leaders popping up. I'm a big fan, but I want to focus on the big dogs in the format. Enel is actually doing way better than I thought it would for being still in EB01. Like, they still don't have Ace, okay? This deck gets even better when it gets Ace, the 10-cost Ace from OP07, which is about 2 weeks away from us in the West. Okay, then we got Luffy. And then check this out, guys. Sakazuki, that's a pretty large representation there. Because remember, that's still legal for us. Okay, but guess what? Gecko Moria, also a very large representation because it's a good deck. These are strong decks. And that's a pretty decent matchup, by the way. Gecko Moria into Sakazuki, like, that's a pretty even matchup. And I also think Gecko Moria is just decent into Red Purple Law. Decent into even slightly favored if you get to go first. Okay, a little bit of Reiju, a little bit of green, yellow Yamato. Now check this out, guys. Red, purple, Law. This one only has that much. Like we saw, Sakazuki has even more than Red, purple, Law. But I think that's another interesting matchup where you've got Red, purple, well, yeah, Gecko Moria into Red, purple, Law is a very interesting matchup, guys. But Red, purple, Law into blue, black Sakazuki is just an interesting matchup as well, right? It just is. Okay, then we have some Uda. Like, check this out, guys. That's not a bad thing to see. A few aces on here. Black, yellow Luffy. Red, yellow Sabo. So good. My absolute favorite, one of my absolute favorite decks right now, Sabo. And this one doesn't even have the top 32 that just happened. Go check out Small Hat Crew's video on this, guys. I'll try to link that in the comment section below. They just put out a video of a guy that got top 16 and got his invite to Nats. Running Red, yellow Sabo at a regional. How awesome. How awesome is that, guys? Really cool. Okay, anyway, sorry. Back to the video. Back to what we were talking about. Yes, Red, purple, Law. And by the way, this is two Red, purple Luffy's down here at the bottom. Yes, Red, purple, Law is a very solid deck. However, with Sakazuki in the format and Gecko Moria, and soon Lucci will be in the format in OP08, right? Or excuse me, OP07, and Jewelry Bonnie, I actually think that could have been a very interesting meta. And here's why I think that, guys. Check this out. So we go to EB01. Now we're in the East. This was Japan's OP01, excuse me, EB01, OP0, I believe it was OP07 format. Yes, see, it's got Lucci. So this is before OP08. Check this out, guys. So let's sort this. Now, there's a lot of stuff. This is 330 entries. We're going to go through all these, guys. So buckle up. Here we go. Just the main ones. Quite a few blue decks. We got Nami, Ivankov, and Blue Doflamingo. Very nice. Even 3 red-blue Nefeltari Vivis. If you want to see any of these lists in particular, go to OnePieceTopDecks.com, guys. I can't go over all of them, obviously. All right, check this out, guys. NL. Massive, massive amounts of NL. Like, I mean, literally, look at all this, guys. There was probably like 50 of them. Okay, then we got some purple Luffy popping up randomly. Some are first place at flagships. Then we get to Sakazuki. Now, this number's a little smaller than it might seem because, remember, in the East, they lost Sakazuki about halfway through OP07. So this leader kind of just disappeared after a while. But that's still a decent representation for being there for half the tournament, or half the the format. Okay, Gecko Moria. Strong representation, a very strong representation. Perona, look at all these Reijus, guys. Reiju in OP07 is going to be a sleeper. Do not sleep on that one, guys. Yamato, very solid. Boa Hancock, look at all these, guys. Like, really good stuff, really good stuff. Jewelry Bonnie, tons of them, tons of Jewelry Bonnie showings. A few Dragons. Dragons a little bit lackluster still, unfortunately. I wish it was a little bit better, but it is what it is. Then we get to Lucci. Look at this, guys. Lucci just representing big time, just like probably the second most to Law. And then Red, Purple, Law, of course, towards the end of it, everyone figured out, well, I mean, people kind of knew this deck was so good. And it doesn't have any deck like Blue, Black, Sakazuki to keep it in place anymore. It was like, oh, so Sakazuki's gone? Okay, cool. Well, now we could just run amok, right? And that's what we see here. And by the way, it still only has a little more, because these are Luffy down here, it still only has a little more than Lucci when it comes to representation. Okay, good stuff there. Zanji, another deck that's absolutely goated. Probably the best deck in format. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Got some ace in here, and then Black Yellow Luffy. Black Yellow Luffy has a ton of representation as well. So, as far as OP07 goes, I actually think Red Purple Law was kept pretty well in balance with Black Yellow Luffy and with all the other decks we looked at. It's not just one deck. There's Black Yellow Luffy. There's what's it called? Black Yellow Luffy, Lucci, Gecko, Sakazuki, and just a bunch of different random decks like Enel and you name it. Okay, now we got one more to look at. Now we're in basically the first month of results from, not even quite a month yet, by the way, but the first month of results from OP08 in the East. Okay, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. So sorting by profile, got a few Dofis popping up, and this is not all of the results. This is just what people have posted, and notice they're not even off first place. Some are first, some are second, some are top 16, some are top 32. Okay, Enel, still a pretty good showing. Bonnie, Lucci, these are all pretty good showings, guys. Calgara's got 5 on here. I believe there's 6 for Pudding because there's one on the next page, I remember. Okay, Pudding, and then we get lots of Red Purple Law, and then we get a random Ace, and then some Black Yellow Luffy, and then that's it, and then one random Kaido. So I don't think things are as bad as they might seem, but I think when they ban leaders, just because they're being overrepresented like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that the deck is broken, I guess is my main thing. I think that there could be things to adjust it. Now, let's talk about that now. let's talk about that for a second. Let me just click on this first place list from, I think this was the most recent one from HE. I can't remember. Whatever the case is, okay, this is still a perfect example. There are two major issues I have with Red Purple Law. Let me also reference this real quick before we dive into Law. When it comes to Blue Black Sakazuki, I did not agree with that being banned at all. I did not think it should be banned. I think the leader needed to be errated so that it was, you can only choose one of the actions per turn. And the other thing about Sakazuki, the thing that I think should have been banned was actually Hound Blaze. This is just me personally, guys. Don't jump on me about this. This is just my personal opinion. I do not think cards like 200 million Volts of Maru or Hound Blaze should exist. I don't even think bottom decking, I can't remember if I said this or not already. I can't remember what I said earlier. But guys, I'm just telling you right now, I don't think bottom decking as a form of removal should exist in the game. I think it was too strong in Sakazuki on like Amino Murakuma Sword and Hound Blaze. And oh, what's this? This leader also bottom decks as removal, so you can't KO, you have no protection from effects like that. It just so happens that the two leaders that we've seen do the most damage so far, other than Whitebeard. I could talk about Whitebeard in its own video, and I have talked about it before. I think 6 life, 6,000 power was just way crazy. I could say that for an entire video. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about, modern One Piece right now, what's going on currently. Law and Sakazuki's main form of removal is bottom decking. Now, Red Purple Law can also smash into your board, just like Blue Black Sakazuki also has built-in KO with cards like Lucci, 4-cost Lucci. So there's some issues. There's some issues there. But the main problem, in my opinion, is the bottom decking. I can't remember exactly where I was going with that. I got kind of sidetracked, guys. I'm sorry. But I think that's what I was talking about. My main issue is bottom decking. I think it's too powerful as a form of removal. Unless it's on something like Red Rock, where it's, okay, that's a 6 Dawn investment to get anything off the board. Sure, that's fine. Even Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, I think, is pretty good. I think it's fairly balanced. That's a 7-cost card to get rid of 2 6-cost characters. Okay, I'm actually fine with that. And I'm also fine with cards like Great Eruption existing. Because guess what? If I have a Sabo down and you try to KO my board, I don't care. You can have as many Great Eruptions as you want to. Because that's why that card was made. That's why cards like Sabo were made. That's like cards like Borsalino, cards like Fukuro, cards, that's why cards were made, even like Perospero with on-KO effects. That's why those cards are made. Sure, KO my guy if you want to, because I'm still generating value, or I'm just getting around it completely with negation or like evasion. But bottom decking is I don't see where the balance is there. I don't see how you can balance that on cards like this, on leaders like this, and cards like we have in the game like Hound Blaze. But since they're already in the game, let's at least take the next step forward without having to ban an extremely cool leader. Because this is a very interesting and fun leader to play for a lot of people. Not because it's broken, but because of the Dawn interactions and the math involved. It is very fun for a lot of players. Now, let me explain what I would do to fix the situation. And I'm not saying that Bandai is going to do this. I have no idea what Bandai is going to do, or their developer. I think their card developer is called Cardass. I don't know what they're going to do. But here's what I would recommend. Promo cards should not be tournament legal. I'm just going to say it, guys. I don't know why promo level cards are legal in tournaments. These are promos. You couldn't buy them in a pack. You couldn't get them in a pack. Now, at locals, maybe you can have house rules for something like this. In fact, I think for locals it would probably be fine. Who cares? It's locals. But when it comes to any kind of major tournament, any kind of 500 player plus, 200 player plus tournament, I mean, most people would argue even like a 50 plus player tournament, right? That's still a big tournament with probably decent prizes. But anything that's over 50 players, I don't know why a promo card would be legal. Because there's another issue involved with this. Gordon and Raise Max are the same card. Well, one way that developers balance a game is they make it where, okay, you can only have 4 of this card in your deck. You can only have 4 of this card in your deck. That is the maximum. That is the maximum amount. Well, Raise Max, you can have 8 of them. Okay, because that's what Gordon is. I don't care that they have different names. They are the exact same card. The only difference is the fact that one says, Gordon, and the other says Raise Max. And Gordon is just film, and Raise Max, I believe, is Revo Army as well. Yeah, Revolutionary Army. That is a big issue for me personally. That's number one. I think if they were to remove, all promo cards from competitive play, I think that would fix a lot just right away. I think that would actually help push Law's power level down right away. That's number one. Number two, this card is actually perfectly balanced as a 4-cost 5k rush card. However, The when attacking part is what makes it kind of messed up. That's in my opinion. I think that this card should be, here's what I think it should read. 4 cost, 5,000 power, rush. Then, when attacking, you ready for this? If your leader has the Supernova or Kid Pirates type, it gets plus 2,000 power during this turn. So that way you push it into a, you know, like red purple Kid, Eustace Kid. All of a sudden, that leader has a reason, you know, there's a reason to play that leader because you have this extremely powerful rush card in there, right? Or red-green Law and red-green Luffy, which are struggling immensely right now. There'd be a reason to run this card. By the way, real quick, in red-green Luffy or red-green Law, if you stand this card up with whatever effect, like maybe, you know, I think, can 5-cost Law stand up Supernova cards that are not just green? I can't remember. Anyway, if you can notice this when attacking is not once per turn, guys. So if you stand this up with like red-green Luffy's effect, okay, well, first he's coming in for 7, then he's coming in for 10, right? Because it's the plus 2,000 from the effect again, and he gets plus 1,000 for the leader effect. Very cool stuff there. Anyway, I think this should have been, the effect should have been leader locked. I don't think the card should have. I like that this is a 4-cost 5k with rush. I actually think that's fine. I think red should have access to cards like that. That's very, very healthy for the game. But the when attacking should have been locked to the leader. And both of them, Supernova or Kid Pirates. So now there's actually a reason to run poor old, you know, red-purple Eustace Kid, right? So yeah, that's another one. So the first thing was the promo situation. Second was the Kid and Killer situation. Third is this one. Again, we're at a point in the game where leader locking does need to be pushed more if you're going to print effects this crazy. Because when I first got into this game, I thought leader locking was the absolute dumbest thing ever. I thought it was so stupid because I come from other games, right? I come from games like Magic the Gathering. I come from games like Hearthstone. And yes, those are like class locked, but excuse me, but in this game, leaders are a very different thing because, you know, they're attacking by themselves, right? They can attack in this game by themselves. Well, guys, Black Maria should not be accessible for Red Purple Law. It's just that simple. I think it's literally just that simple. And I think if you were to make those 3 adjustments, number one, the deck would still be extremely powerful. It probably wouldn't run Kid and Killer anymore. It would probably run just, you know, just straight up Zoros again, and maybe like one or two Kid and Killers because it still meets that, you know, 4-cost 5k rush body. But still, it would not be as busted as it feels right now. Excuse me. Okay, Reiju I think is fine. I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but all that card draw. I actually think Reiju is kind of fine, to be honest. And the same thing with Queen, because this isn't just running you over, right? It's the fact that they can play out this card or this card and just get immediate value, just run you straight over. You have no time to interact. And you know, in the way they're cheating it out with the Leader's Effect just becomes brutal. But I think Reiju and Queen are a very interesting part of this deck, and like I think it does help the deck do well, sure, but at the same time, I think the bigger problems are what I said. Why do they have 8 of this card? Why is this a 4-cost 7k rusher? You know what I mean? And lastly, why is this card even accessible to anything other than Animal Kingdom Pirates? So that's my question there. And understand that I do understand that, like, there is no perfect fix. I'm just giving you guys my opinion on this, but I just simply don't think this leader should be banned. Just like I didn't think Blue-Black Sakazuki should be banned. I thought certain cards needed to be, you know, I think other cards should be banned. Like I said, Houndblaze. Okay, think about it. Houndblaze is like unused now that Sakazuki's out of the format in OP07 and in OP08. It's like now we just have a dead card in the game, and I guess that's fine, right? Maybe in the future there will be another leader that comes out. And I don't know, I guess maybe Rebecca could use it. I have not messed with it very much, I'm going to be honest, guys. But the thing is, like, you actually made a few cards dead that didn't need to be, when you could have just made the one card dead, like Houndblaze, and then adjusted the leader of Sakazuki to what I was saying, where it's like a once per turn effect, like how Perona is. Or excuse me, a choose one effect like Perona and like King, whatever. And then I think it could have been completely balanced that way. I don't know. I will leave my my Sakazuki videos down in the comment section below if y'all want to check out what I think about that. Because I do not think that leader should be banned. In fact, I think the leader should be unbanned so that it can help battle against a leader like this. And as far as a balance standpoint goes, I don't work for Bandai. I don't work for Cardass, their game developer. But I can tell you this right now, this is not a good thing having 8 of the same card available in a deck, period. This card, like I said, it's okay to have cards that are this powerful when they're locked to certain leaders where you can actually mitigate their power in that way or make it more fair and more balanced in that way. And same with this one. I'm just clueless as to how this one exists and how it's usable in Red Purple Law. Okay, so that's pretty much the main thing I wanted to talk about with Red Purple Law. I do just want to say one more thing. Like, I understand some people might be thinking, well, like, what about Whitebeard when that was banned? And I think that was fine. I actually like the way they banned Whitebeard back in the day for us in the West, because they only banned it like for us in the West for the most part. I think they didn't even ban it in the East, because what you needed to happen was you needed to let the rest of the format catch up, right? You needed the rest of the format to catch up with how powerful Whitebeard was, Newgate was, and then once we did, we'll now look at the results. You know, let me find was it on this one? Let me go back to yeah, I think this was the English one. Let me just go all the way back. It's just fast for me to do it this way. Okay, right here, and then we look at results, or we sort by profile, and look at this now, guys. Like, that's a lot of representation for Newgate, and this is in OP0 6.5 meta, and I think the newest card in here might be OP04, maybe OP05. So you guys see what I'm saying? Like, that's how powerful this leader was, and that was why I was okay with them temporarily banning this leader. Sakazuki, I was just against completely. And I believe I've actually done. Let me see something, guys. Let me get. This is my page here. Let me just type in ban, and it'll probably bring up everything we're talking about. Yeah, let me put my glasses on so I can see. I will link these down in the comment section below. This one right here. What was the other one? Oh no, it was just those 3 cards. So they banned Sakazuki, Great Eruption, and Reject. Okay, and I talked about it in 2 different videos. I will put those. You know, I'll put those in the comment section for those who are interested. I talk about the Newgate ban, or the Newgate ban. Right here, you know, what does this say? Whitebeard's end in sight, you know, talking about that. Did the restrictions matter? That was back when they just restricted the leader, and then they finally ended up banning it after that, and then unbanning it. So I think now would be the time to unban Sakazuki and see if that fixes your format, because I think people are still going to be playing Red Purple Law and Blue Black Sakazuki and Black Yellow Luffy and all these other decks we talked about, because there's actually quite a few options now to run, and I think they're you know, some are pretty decent into Red Purple Law. But yeah, I don't know. After that, I'm just kind of rambling at this point, guys. I've been talking about it for almost 30 minutes. If I didn't cover something, you want to know what I think about this, that, or the other, please put it down in the comment section below. But just to do like a let me bring this up real quick. Just to give my final opinion on this, I do not think that this leader should be banned. I think Sakazuki should be unbanned or errated in a way that's not as awful as it is right now. Because if you guys seen the new Sakazuki, I think I talked about it. Let me bring it up real quick, guys. It is laughably bad. It is just absolutely horrendously bad. Let me find it real quick. All right, let me bring this over. This is the new Sakazuki, guys. Look at this. Okay, we know what he used to do, right? Okay, activate main, trash a card, draw a card. Okay, very solid effect. And when attacking, give up one of your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. Let me adjust this so I can see. There we go. Okay, that was, yeah, this was a very solid leader effect. What I think they should have done before I go over to the other one, I think they should have made it a choose one, just like Perona. Because remember, guys, Perona is basically this. See, look, let me go over to Perona real quick. Okay, Perona, activate main, once per turn, choose one. Rest up to one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower characters, or give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost for the turn. That is exactly how Sakazuki should have read, in my opinion. It should have been activate main, once per turn, choose one, and then this first effect should have been trash a card and draw a card, or give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 for the turn. And that is a substantial nerf. A lot of people don't realize how important it is for Sakazuki to be able to use both effects every single turn. It adds up so much over the course of the game. And then the other thing that I think they should have done for Sakazuki, and this was just me personally, is I think Hound Blades should have been gone, or at least restricted down to a few cards, something along those lines, because I just think it was too strong. All right, now back to the other Sakazuki real quick. I just want to show you guys what it turned into. This is the new one. It's 4 costs, 4 life, 5,000 power, just like before, Navy type. Activate main once per turn, trash 1 Navy type card from your hand, and then give up to your opponent's characters -1 cost during this turn. So not trash and draw a card. It's not a cycle anymore. You're trashing a Navy card just to put a -1 cost on a card for the turn. Just run Smoker. Smoker does that for free. You don't have to trash anything. And it could potentially get buffed from that, and you get 5 life. It's like, oh, but you lose the blue, and that is a big deal. Losing blue, you know, I think that was a big part of what made this leader busted, is the fact that it had blue for the bottom decking. And I can't stress that enough, guys. I don't think it's a coincidence that Red Purple Law and Blue Black Sakazuki have been our most busted leaders, at least since Whitebeard. You know, busted as in, like, you know, tournament representation and results for that matter, since Whitebeard, you know, because they both have bottom decking just built into their kit. You know, Sakazuki has cost reduction built into his kit with the blue bottom decking built around that. Then when you go over to Red Purple Law, it's literally built into the actual. Let me move this. It is actually built into the leader's effect. I don't know. That's just me, guys. You tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. So I want to know what y'all think. Should Red Purple Law be banned? Why or why not? What did y'all think of the revisions I was suggesting to help fix Red Purple Law by taking down, the 8 minus 3,000 power cards in here, adjusting cards like Hidden Killer, adjusting cards like Black Maria so that they're leader locked for certain abilities, or for their effects at least. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about Sakazuki? Do you think introducing Sakazuki back into the format will fix this? Because I actually think it will. I actually think introducing Sakazuki back into the format now battles Trafalgar Law, and then you have decks that are actually fairly decent into Sakazuki, like Gecko Moria, and I'm sure there are others as well. It's hard to put all this together in my head on the spot, guys, but I think y'all know what I'm saying. I think reintroducing Sakazuki would be a good thing, and it would help balance out this leader. But yeah, I think that's the main stuff there. Those questions that I just said, guys. What do you think? Red Purple Law should be banned or not? Should Blue Black Sakazuki come back in to battle it, or should and or also do some slight modifications, like I said. Maybe reintroduce Sakazuki immediately as what I said, where you have to choose one effect now. Because that seems like the way they balance the dual-colored leaders. Like even King, let me bring this this thing back over. Like even the new King card, let me bring that up. It's going to bring up a bunch of cards. Let me type in black, and then it should do it, because it finds like King anywhere in the text when you search like that. Oh gosh, did I just like destroy the video with this? What's going on? Hang on, I gotta hit refresh, continue. It's like falling apart on me. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's find it. It should be like way down here somewhere. There we go. So for the new leader King, again, dual color leader, activate main once per turn, choose one. He has Dawn -2, but choose one. You can either, draw a card if you have 5 or less in hand, or give a character -2 cost for the turn. You see, like, that seems like the way going forward. And I think if they would adjust Sakazuki to this format, where you get to choose one per turn of the effects, I think that alone would actually help balance him almost by itself. But number 2 is the bottom decking is pretty strong, guys. Bottom decking as a form of removal is pretty crazy. And for those who are wondering, like what I think, like, okay, bottom deck is strong, but what about bouncing? Isn't that just as strong? The answer is no, it's not even close. Because bouncing, yeah, it's good if you're going for the lethal, but so is resting. Resting a character or bouncing a character back to hand when you're going for lethal, yeah, those are both, those can be even stronger than KO effects, because you might have a character that cannot be KO'd. But bouncing a card back to your hand gives you the chance to play it again with an on-play effect, or counter out with it. Like, if it's a card with a 1k counter, they bounce back to your hand. Okay, just now you can counter out with it to help survive the attack. So yeah, that's what I think about that. What else? What else, guys? I think that's about it. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. Y'all just tell me down in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and hop into this game of Magellan. I got a quick game for y'all of Magellan on the sim. Let me adjust my camera real quick. Okay, I think I gotta go down a little bit with this. There we go. All right, guys. So we got a fun game here. We got to decompress after talking about Red Purple Law, right? And first up here, let me see. Volume's off. Speed's 2x. We're good to go. You guys know how that goes. And first game up here, we've got against Luffy. This is the new ST14 Luffy coming out for us soon in the West. I think it still has like a month left or so. But this is coming out relatively soon for us in the West. And okay, he's going to swing in for 6. I'm going to take it. Look at my hand, guys. Now you're not going to get 3 Magellans every game, so don't worry. That's why I had to do 2 videos today, because you're not going to get 3 Magellans every game. And Magellan, for those who are not aware of what it is, it's a 5-cost, 6,000 power character that has on play Dawn -1, so you return 1 Dawn to your hand, and your opponent has to return a Dawn to their hand, or to their Dawn deck. Excuse me, not to your hand, to your Dawn deck. So you're losing a Dawn, they're losing a Dawn, but the Magellan leader gets plus 1,000 power whenever you return a Dawn. So I'm swinging for 6 every time I do this. And I've got Magellan here. Now he's going to swing for 6. And he has on KO, your opponent loses 2 Dawn. So that effect is completely worthless against bottom decking. Remember, we were just talking about that. I'm sorry, guys. I got to talk about it one more time. Bottom decking is so busted that it just gets around your on KO effects that help give certain decks strength. So he's trying to ignore my my Magellans because he doesn't want to lose 2 Dawn, which we love to see it, right? Hey, we love to see it. So right here, I think I go for 6, 7, 7 or something like that. I'm trying to do a little bit of math in my head right now. So swinging for 6. Yeah, I think I do 6, 7, 7. Okay, swing for 7. And guys, this is going to start adding up. I'm swinging for 6s and 7s non-stop. And this is a 5-life leader, so you can't just rush me down like you can with a 4-life leader or try to just race me. It's like, nope, another Magellan. Now swinging for 7 at the Sabo. I'm just going to get a card off his board. It's fine. And in my hand, look at that, guys. I've got 3 2K counters. I've got 2 1Ks. One's actually a decent blocker in Law. But then I've got 2 top knots if I need to just bounce something out of my way. That event on the far side of my hand is called Top Knot. It's a 2 cost, Dawn -2 as well when you play it. So on, you pay 2, then return those 2 Dawn cards, and you can bottom deck a 4 or less. It is a bottom deck effect, so it'll get straight around cards like Borsellino. However, the big problem with that card against Luffy is most of his cards are going to be way too costly for me to remove because of the leader effect and because of the stage. Okay, so he's going to attach 1 Dawn, give all of his characters +1 for the turn for their cost. And let's see what he does here. He plays out Gecko Moria. He gets a blocker. I don't think he might try to remove something here, but I don't think he will. We'll see what he does. He probably did this a little bit out of order. Like, I think he should have swung first with his Kuzan. Like, I think that's what I would have done, is swung first with Kuzan. But okay, he's probably just going to pop my queen with his jack. Yep, see, I'm even like kind of mousing over it. Okay, and he's going to do that right now. But it's probably too little too late, guys, because look at my board. He swings 6 into 7. I'm not letting him have that. Hey, he probably wanted me to give it to him because he doesn't care if he loses on at this point, because it's like, dude, I'm going to swing for 7 to get a 2K out here, and then it's going to be like a bunch of 8s. So right here, I think I was going to use something to get around that, to get around the Rebecca, but I actually couldn't do it with Top Knot because it had +1 cost for the effect, and then it's game over. Okay, GG. So that was fun. Magellan. There's something here, guys. This list is not finished. I will show it at the end of the video. Let me find the other video real quick because I got one more to show y'all. This leader is not finished by any means. Where am I? There we go. Versus King. Okay. Let me get the speed up to 2x. There we go. All right. So here we go. We got King. We're going against Purple Black King from OP08. And if I didn't mention, this is an OP08 list, of course. Notice I am running ways to get Dawn back, and I'm trying to balance that with ways to return Dawn as well, so I can get full value for my cards. Okay, so right here, we'll see what he does. He's going to... Oh, he swung for 6. I took it, and then he's going to play out an Agashima for the turn. And then he used his leader effect to do something there, I think, to draw a card. So I'm going to play out Queen, which is going to buff me up +1. I'm going to trash one of those little one of those vanilla cards from my hand. I'm going to swing 6. He gives me a 7K counter. Very smart. Because I want him to get to 7 cards so I can pop him with one of these Trafalgar Laws. But this opponent seemed pretty good. And they knew, they were definitely playing around Trafalgar Law. Even though they were drawing and stuff like that, I don't think he ever got to 7 for long enough for me to pop him. So right here, I give him a 1K counter. I was trying out that Heat card, or is that Wire? I get those two confused. Yeah, Heat. I was trying the Heat card out. I ended up cutting it. I think I'm done with that card. I don't think it's good enough, to be honest, but we'll have to see. And if you guys have like a real spicy Magellan list, by all means, put it down in the comment section below so I can check it out. All right, he has a Black Maria down. We don't like to, we hate to see that. We do not want to see that. I'm going to swing for 5. I'm going to swing for, I think I swing for 6 here, 6 or 7. Yeah, swing for 6. Okay. And like I said, he's countering out so aggressively. I'm like, dang, man, I'm trying to get this to, I'm trying to get some hits through here. I go ahead and trash Magellan. It's too late for that. He's got Black Maria on the board. I can't do anything with that. Another play I could have done there, which would have been interesting, is if I played out the ulti into page 1 just to develop the board. But when it comes to going against, like, this is not an aggro blitz deck. It is a mid-range deck, so I do want some tempo. But I actually need to pace myself against this leader because he can draw so many cards. So even though it looks like, oh man, you've got like 7 cards in hand and he only has 5, it's like, yeah, but don't forget he can draw a card every single turn because of his leader's effect, and now he's going to start fixing his hand while popping cards with Jack. So I'm not exactly in like this incredible winning position right now. And he's trashing cards like Onigashima that are normally dead in hand. He goes 5 into life. That's interesting. I go ahead and trash one of my... I block out, or I counter out with my logs. He's playing around it so well. Okay, so right here, I'm on an 8 Dawn, or excuse me, a 9 Dawn turn. I'm going to swing 5 into him here. Okay. Now, one thing I will say is that 7 cost Eustace Kid is so good in this deck, guys. Plus 1,000 for his effect, which also buffs your leader plus 1,000 with the leader's effect. And now I'm a 6,000 on my opponent's turn, and I've got an 8k on the board. A very menacing board right now. But at the same time, his board's not exactly awful, right? Okay, 8 into 6. I'm at least going to try to save it. He does not have enough to play out a 10-cost Kaido. Okay, but he does -2. -2 more. So he does -2 with that Sasaki card, -2 more with the King leader effect. And I'm surprised he didn't just try to hit me with Jack, but he had another Jack, so that now it makes sense. Now I can pop that card, and it's going to be my turn. And he has Black Maria to ramp up if he needs to after using his excuse me, he already used his leader effect. Okay, and he's going to swing 6 into 6. I can't let him have that for free, so I'm just going to give him one of these. I think I should have gave him the Trafalgar Law, but I gave him the Eustace Kid. It's whatever, because I'm at 10 Dawn now. Like, Eustace Kid's value goes, you know, down drastically after you get to 10 Dawn. It's just not really relevant anymore. Are we on 2x speed? I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, like I said, sometimes it feels so slow. Okay, play out Magellan. I activate the Eustace Kid first there, so you don't get the rest of Dawn from the pudding, and because I only have 10 Dawn, and that was to get to 10. So I'm just doing 5 here, and then 6 with my leader, or excuse me, 6 with Queen first. And now basically what I've said is, okay, you have to beat me this turn, or get rid of every character I have, right? And that's just not realistic. He's just not going to be able to do that. I have a 1k and a 1k in hand, and then I'm going to draw 4 cards. Okay, so I think he misplayed. So, yeah, all right, so let's pause and explain what he tried to do there. He forgot to minus the cost of one of my characters first with his leader effect. I guess. I don't know. See, that's a tough situation. But I mean, he left there. I just don't think it matters because, okay, so say he KOs, pick any character you want to. It doesn't matter. Like, if he KOs let's just say he KOs every one of my characters, which he could not do that turn. If he KO'd every one of my characters, then I still win by just putting 15 on my leader and go, or 10 on my leader and swinging for 15. It's game over. Because he has no blockers in hand or on the board. It's just GG. And he has no way to swing through with the cards he has on the board, like realistically. Because I can get out of one 6k attack, and as I go further down, it was a Reiju and a Black Maria and a Page 1. So I was going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I was going to be able to get out of a 10k attack at the very end. So, you know, and I still had this blocker. So even if he could get this blocker, he would have to use a card that could KO it from over here somewhere, and it just wouldn't be the same. I think if I were him, let me tell you guys what I would have done in this situation. Well, I don't know. I would have just conceded, actually. I'm sorry. I would have just conceded because there is no way for me to block whatever my next turn attack is with my leader. And even if you try to go for game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So say he reduced the cost of my... Well, you see, that's the issue. He can't do it. He physically cannot do it because it would cost 4 Dawn to swing with this card here and 3 more Dawn to swing with Black Maria. Okay, so 4 and 3 is 7. He'll only have 3 Dawn to try to remove one of my characters while swinging everything for lethal. So anyway, that was a GG. Good game from that guy. He was just stuck between a rock and a hard place. There was no way out of it. But this is the current list I'm working with, guys. Let me move my face over. This is the current list I'm messing around with. I think it does have some potential. I think it's decent. I think it's not bad. I think it's all right. I just wish there was more purple Impel Down support that ties in directly with effects like this Eustace Kid, the 7 cost. This has on play and when attacking, return 1 Dawn card, which turns on your leader, right? And then you can give your leader another plus 1,000 power from this card's effect until the start of your next turn. So he'll get plus 1,000 from this and plus 1,000 for the turn. So he'll swing for 7. He's a 6 on defense. Like, cards like this are really good for what Magellan's trying to do. I think this leader should be trying to go big. Magellan, the 5 cost, is perfect in this deck, in my opinion, because you're establishing a 5 cost 6k with a lot of evasion. No one wants to KO this card. Bottom decking, against like Red Purple Law, this is the easiest removal in the game for them, because they just go, okay, play Gordon, -3, and bottom deck it. That's, again, I do have to tie it back to what we were saying, what this whole video was about Red Purple Law balance and about Blue Black Sakazuki balance. The biggest problem, in my personal opinion, is the on KO stuff. Like, you're bypassing an entire mechanic in the game that I don't think should be bypassable, unless it's a very special effect, like I said, like with Red Rock or like 9 cost Mihawk, something like that. But yeah, Magellan here. The on KO effect against anyone else other than Red, Purple, and Blue Black Sakazuki. Decks that have KO as removal. this card can eat them up. This card can really hurt, and you're putting on the pressure with your leader at the same time, which is nice because the Dawn -1 buffs your leader. King is pretty good. It only hits a 4 or less, and there is no cost reduction in purple, at least not currently at the time you're recording this. Who knows about the future? But there's no cost reduction. So this card is decent because it's a 6 cost 7k that can pop a 4 or less, and it turns on your leader's effect to swing for 6. It's pretty decent, but it's not incredible either. But it really is not bad against like Law because there's a lot of 4 cost and lower targets to hit with this card. I was running 2 Kaidos. I just never saw them. I think this card's decent. I don't think Heat's meant for this deck, but the reason I ran it is in a perfect world, right? In like on the perfect curve, in like the magical Christmas land situation or scenario, you go first, right? So turn 1 play out, or turn 1 you're just going to pass because there's nothing to do. But turn 2 you play out Heat, or well, swing for 5 your leader first, then play out Heat, and then turn 3 you play out Magellan, buffing your Heat, buffing your leader, and you smash in, you push them back a Dawn, and then the next turn you can't play out Eustace Kid, right? Because you're going to be on 6 Dawn because you went down 1 Dawn. Unless you went second, then it's perfect. If you went second, then it's loaded perfect because it's like, all right, turn 1 draw cards, pass. Turn 2, you'll play out the Heat and you'll have 1 Dawn left over, swing for 6 with your leader. Turn 3, Magellan, swing for 6 with Heat, swing for 7 with leader, and then you'd be able to play out this on the on a perfect curve, or even potentially just go straight to King. There's a lot of options there. There's a lot of room to work here. Queen is absolutely incredible in this deck as well because it's a 5 cost 6k blocker, draw 2, trash 1, and Dawn -1, guys. Dawn -1 is massive with your leader effect because it allows you to do so much. Same thing with ulti, 4 cost 5k, plays out a page 1, 4 cost 6k, and lets you swing for 6 that turn. So hopefully you guys see what's going on here. I do have some ways to offset my meta losses with like cards like Charlotte Pudding, cards like Eustace Kid. I run 2 of the Black Maria card. But I will say this. I feel like with the amount of tempo you're putting on, I almost feel like this card's not as good. I feel like Eustace Captain Kid I might go down to like a 2 or a 3 of. Because if I get this down on turn 2, that I'm happy with. Because then turn 3, I play out Magellan and I don't actually lose Dawn. I mean, I lose it in order to, trigger this and to trigger his effect to make my opponent lose a Dawn. But then I get it right back. Well, Eustace Kid's too late for that. It's just too late. And I don't know. I think this is just an incredibly solid card, this Pudding. What else? I think that's about it, guys. That's about it. Yeah. Right, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I really appreciate everybody stopping by. I do want to talk just briefly at the end, just to kind of summarize about Red Purple Law. I know I went over it ad nauseum at this point. I'm just yapping about it, but I really want to stress that, I think Red Purple Law is, yes, it is a very, very well-represented leader. But one thing I mentioned at the very beginning is I want to know how many players are playing Red Purple Law at the tournament. Because think about it, guys. If you have 1,000 players at a tournament and 900 of them are playing one deck, that one deck is probably going to win. Okay, just statistically, they're bound to make it to the top 16, right? But winning the tournament also very, very likely. But here's the thing, even if there's only say it's a 1,000-player tournament and 500 players play the same deck. Okay, well, think about it, guys. Simple math, simple statistics, analytics here, simple math here. If you have a Black-Yellow Luffy playing against a Red-Purple Law, well, if Black-Yellow Luffy wins, he goes up and the Red-Purple Law goes down, right? Like, so he goes -1 for his win-loss, and the Black-Yellow Luffy goes +1. Well, if you have Red-Purple Law versus Red-Purple Law wins. It just so happens, right? Like, yes, one of them loses, but there's 2 Red-Purple Laws, so it doesn't lose, period, as far as the statistics go. It just keeps going up and up and up, and that becomes the issue. It's like, okay, if it's just like mirror matches all the way up, yeah, Red-Purple Law is going to make it to the finals every time. You know what I mean? And that's something we have to know, because I really want to know what the numbers are from these tournaments in the East. I want to know, that's one thing that Eggman does really well. Or at least I think either he or whoever helps him with the organizing, getting him the data, they tell you, okay, we had this many of this deck in there, we had this many of that deck. I want to see that for the Japanese data. And if someone has that, please send it my way. I don't know where it is. I don't know where to find it. If you do, send it my way so we can talk about that, because that is a very relevant factor on why Red Purple Law is doing so well. Okay, that's about all I wanted to talk about, guys. Let me put up the patrons page real quick. Thank you, guys. Big shout out to everybody who supports this channel, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, even just watching, just viewing my channel is helping me out. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Big shout out to my patrons who go above and beyond to help me out in the ways that they do. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Right now, as far as the mats go, quick update on the mats. I'm just waiting for the boxes to ship them out in, and then I'm gonna tell you guys about how to order them. Okay, so it's, you know, we're a step closer to the mats, guys. And I think after all has been said and done, I think it's going to be a pretty decent price. A lot of people are going to be happy with who are interested. But I will talk about that probably Thursday or Friday. Well, okay, today's Wednesday, so yeah, Thursday or Friday is when I should be talking more about that. I'm literally, like I said, I ordered them off Amazon, so I'm just waiting for the boxes to come in the mail. Like, I had to order them in bulk so I could ship them out and everything. All right, that's it, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. And until next time, guys, peace.